We are so excited because we're here together in Savannah, Georgia. We have never done a podcast together, so this will be brand new learning for us, but I think it's going to be such a great conversation. We are in Savannah, Georgia this week on our annual, sometimes biannual retreats. We do these retreats to stay connected, to discover about ourselves, to learn new things about ourselves, and to continue to grow our coaching practices, whether they're formal practices or informal practices. So today we wanted to talk about the power of retreats and the act of retreating, since this is where we are and this is what we've been doing. So before we get into most of the content that we wanted to talk about, let me just share with you what we do when we get together. First of all, we laugh and we bond and we have fun and we hug and we just love to be together with each other. So it's a wonderful experience. But we do have a formal agenda. It involves quite a bit of journaling and self-discovery, quite a bit of digging into our limiting beliefs, what's holding us back, maybe some of our past traumas or issues, and setting intentions and goals and visions and purpose going forward. So for this retreat, that's what our mornings have been about, is just introspective thinking, pondering, dreaming, and sharing with each other, which has been wonderful. And then we break because we set intentions for this time together. What do we want to come out of this time with? And this time everybody wanted to get some actual physical work done. So we break for work time, and everybody this is a beautiful house right on the water in Savannah, and everybody can go to their favorite place, their favorite corner, and work for a while. And then we come back together and share what we've done, and we learn from each other. And we take each other's ideas, which has been super fun.
Can I add? And so to kind of take things back a few years from how we first met to begin with, we all met at a coaching training.
Yes.
And we're all from different walks of life.
Mm-hmm.
And we were at different crossroads at our life during that time. And that was something that kind of compelled us, pushed us to seek life coaching. It was basically where we met, at a life coaching training. I know I was at a crossroads as far as how I felt personally in my career as a primary care physician post-pandemic. I was feeling overwhelmed and was feeling unsatisfied. I was feeling like I needed kind of support. And so I sought this training program, which I had heard other people that had transformed their lives. So I was looking for a way to transform my life. And that's how we happened to all meet. And it seems like we were all working on some grasping for something. So, right. I don't know how
absolutely
during that time. And we formed a bond or a friendship where we felt really comfortable with each other. We kind of just clicked, and none of these, we're not judged. We don't judge each other regardless of our differences or our quirks or our things. Feel like we allow each other to be who we are.
Yeah.
And so because of that bond, we maintain that friendship, even though all four of us are in a different part of the country. None of us live nowhere near each other. We can even drive to visit each other.
No, we're in all different time zones.
Yeah. And so we maintain, at least you're the project manager, organizer, you can herd a bunch of cats together. And so she kind of kept us in touch with our, Zoom calls. We did video calls together so that we can kind of reconnect and follow each other's progress on our goals. And we all, at that training, we all came out with a plan of how to grow, not only professionally, but personally. And so we help kind of hold each other accountable and support each other in a very, very safe way. So that's kind of like a little bit of a backstory for how we all came together.
Yeah,
Mhm.
important backstory that I don't think we've ever shared in our podcast before. That's important.
Yeah.
So when you all think about our retreats, and I do retreats in my business as well as do retreats with you all. So I have two different viewpoints on retreats. But I would love to hear the value and what you look forward to, what maybe makes you a little bit nervous, how you come into retreats.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, packing to come. It's fun. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. When I get here, I feel like everything just lets go and I just really relax into you guys and into the space. And it just feels like a really safe space to clear my head, get my thoughts out, bounce some ideas around you guys. It's just been really good. And then we plan fun things for the evening, but it's been raining, so I don't think we're gonna do our activity tonight, but
Yeah.
Well, for me, I just look forward to being in the space of these powerful, successful, independent women and just being in such a safe place to be vulnerable. I think in most of our lives, we have this protective mechanism and we're not really showing our true selves to protect ourselves. And in this space, it feels so good to let your guard down. And like Gabby said, like we let each other be who we are. Like the four of us, I don't think could be any more different, right?
Yeah.
And we all have perks, right? And it's so refreshing to be in a space where you can be yourself and not worry about being judged, criticized. Yeah. And there's something too about the collective. When we were working in, it was Charleston together, we were able to just pick ideas that normally you wouldn't be able to do in like an isolated, just by yourself setting. Like there was something about the energy in the room and just things flowing in that kind of that flow state.
Yeah, and that's a good point. We've evolved the way we retreat. So when we started, so we did Charleston, Dallas, Nashville, and now Savannah.
Mhm.
And when we started in Charleston, so number one, we didn't really know each other that well as we do now. We were all going through the certification process, so we were in different places. And we were
And certification to be for life
a life
coaching.
coach. Yeah,
Life
certification to be a
Uh-huh.
life coach. Thank you.
Mhm.
And we were all embarking on this idea of starting our own businesses.
Mhm.
So our retreating was much more structured and focused around what is the vision for our business? How do we get there? What are the first few steps we need to take? What's holding us back? What are the thoughts and the beliefs that are keeping us from realizing this dream of owning our own businesses and starting our businesses? And since we've been doing this so frequently now, we've evolved. Right? We don't need quite as much of the structure and flip charts and all the things that went into running that kind of retreat. Now it's, let's just do some deep dive questions. Let's do some thought work. Let's do some work, and let's evolve that way.
And I think also for, the bigger picture for, any woman who's listening right now who has no intention of starting their own business or who has no intention of, changing their career. But the big point is the connections that is really important for women
Yes.
to feel supported in all aspects of life, because we don't just talk about work. And actually the majority of the time, what we talk about is like personal things that we've experienced or going through that really affect how we show up in our life and really work on identifying. I mean, we've shared stuff with each other that we've never shared with other people who've known us our entire lifetimes. But us knowing each other for, the 4 and some years, because we allow ourselves to come together and have our own community with each other, are able to feel that, allow ourselves to be vulnerable, which is something that's super important for women, is to feel connected to feel like we're a part of a community, to feel like we have an outlet to be able to, express things and then find out I'm not alone in this. I'm not the only one who went through whatever I've gone through. I'm not the only one who's struggling. I'm not the only one who feels imperfect. I'm not the only one who feels like an imposter. And so just having that sense of community
Validation.
and validation and support and that I have your back kind of, is really, I think, one of the big reasons that it's really important for women to have those communities. And it doesn't have to be, we go away for, on a fancy trip. Like, you can do this, in your community, in your local, where you're at.
Yeah, you could do it at a coffee shop. You could do it at somebody's house. I mean, we get together. We all live on opposite parts of the country, so we have to fly to get to each other. And we made a conscious decision. We want to go to cities that we've never been to. So that's kind of what's been driving us. But you don't have to spend a ton of money. It's the act of pick up a thought journal at your local bookstore and get a couple copies of them and bring a group of women that you trust together at a coffee shop, at your house, at somebody else's house, whatever. It's the connections, to your point. It's discovering things about yourself that you haven't discovered. It's daring to dream, right? Women don't take the opportunities to think those big thoughts about themselves and to do the work on what's holding us back.
Right. And figure out, who am I? Really?
Yes. Who am I?
Who am I?
And what do I want next?
What do I want next?
It's the next chapter going to be. And sharing all that, it's been so amazing with you guys.
Yeah.
What makes me happy?
Yeah.
Feel fulfilled.
Feel fulfilled. And what are my frustrations?
And when you voice your frustrations, it's like, oh, I'm not the only one that feels that way.
Yeah.
Right? There's something so powerful about hearing somebody else's story and you finding it within yourself.
Yeah.
So how do you think women who are listening, who feel like they could benefit from having a sense of community, how can, I figure out a way to retreat, with or maybe even with people who are not,
Right.
my close friends, or how do we start this?
Yeah. So let me tell you about, we've told you about our retreating process, which is more personal. I run retreats through my business, the Sinha Group, sinhagroup.net. And I am running them twice a year. They're called The Power of You. And I do them with another coach and therapist, Suzanne McCall. And we try to bring, 6 to 7 women who don't know each other. And that's a little bit purposeful, that don't know each other, so that you can build new communities. There's an epidemic of loneliness post-pandemic for women. So we want you to build deep, trusting friendships. We want to do it in a beautiful, safe space. We want to create activities that help you train your brain to think differently about yourself and what you're capable of. We do a lot of vision boarding, which is, it's a little scrapbooky, it's a little artsy, and I've had people come in and be really afraid of the vision boarding side because they say, I don't have an artistic side. And those are the ones that turn out to be the most artistic and do the most unbelievable things with their vision boards. Same with journaling, heavy on the journaling side. And I've had people come in and say, I have never journaled in my life and I don't know how to write. And inevitably, they're the most eloquent of the writers in the group. And people discover new talents that they didn't know that they had. So there are, I invite you to participate in my retreats, but there are retreats. Lots of coaches hold retreats, and there are centers for retreats. They're easy to find. But if you want to do it on your own, it's also super easy. You get a group of people that you feel very safe with, or that you want to know better. And sometimes retreating is not, signing up for 3 days away somewhere. Like that's what mine are. This one was 5 days. It's from 8 to 5. We're going to go to this coffee shop and we're going to sit at this table together and we are gonna talk about our lives and figure out what's holding us back. We're gonna have this journal and we're gonna go through the journal together. You can do some scrapbooking or some vision boarding while you're there, or just some straight dreaming together. It doesn't even have to be overnight. It's just getting away from your normal space with people that you feel safe and comfortable with.
And I can tell you, Elise is amazing at what she does, and putting together our retreats, and also with the long-term kind of follow-up and meets that we have virtually, since we're not close to each other. I mean, at least for me, I know that from the beginning, the person that I was, when we first all met, I'm a completely different person now. I mean, I'm the same person. I'm still imperfect and still, a pain in the ass sometimes. But at that point, I was really thinking of, how can I get out of medicine? How can I just do something different that it isn't so, it felt like I was getting the life sucked out of me at that time. I wasn't looking forward to going to work. I felt like the demands of the patients and the administration and all the things, was too much. The job hasn't changed anything, but now, because of the coaching that we've done together and the retreats that we've done and the conversations that we've had through making this podcast even, has taken a big burden, a big weight off me now that I can work through some of these issues. And the job hasn't changed. I have a much better relationship, I feel like, with the people around me, and they haven't changed at all. The only thing that has changed is I feel more supported. I feel like I know myself better, and that I can handle my emotional kind of drama in a way that isn't so energy sucking.
Yeah.
And that's been thanks to you all.
Yes, we've collectively taught each other how to manage our minds differently and how to manage our thoughts. And that's been so powerful. And we continue to do that. I mean, this week has been such discovery into some deep-seated events and thoughts and beliefs that have been impacting our lives. And even though we've been doing this for a long time, it's still an amazing journey to be on.
You can always go deeper.
Yeah.
And I always come back more re-energized and more excited to do what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, just to open up into experiencing more feelings before finding life coaching and these ladies, I didn't have an idea. I didn't know that you felt emotions. Oh, really?
Yeah. Or we live in such a narrow bandwidth of emotions.
Right.
We only experience, a few of them.
Happy,
But
sad.
there's a whole spectrum of emotions that we can feel.
Yeah. And it's not just emotions and feelings and the thought work, it's also tactical things. Beth reminded me that at our very first retreat in Charleston is where I dreamt up the concept of coaching circles, of small, intimate groups for 8 weeks. And what did I say? I'm on my 8th or 9th coaching circle now. And now I actually have a waiting list for coaching circles. And I dreamt it up and put the framework together here with these ladies. Same with when we went to Texas, is where we dreamt up starting a podcast. And we put our framework together. We were sitting in this big comfy couch in Dallas, and we were all sitting around this ottoman, and we just put the framework together for what this could look like. And now we are almost a year and a half into doing this podcast. So real deliverables, real results come out of the work that we do. And I think that's important too. It's not just the touchy-feely is so important, but it's also tactical.
There's a power to masterminds, as someone was talking about, but there's something about when you get like-minded people together and you have an idea and it's like infused with everybody's energy and it just really can take off. So it's been really great.
Yeah. What's the best thing that each of you take away every time we get together?
Oh, wow.
There's so many things, but I feel like I feel validated as to the things that I feel and that I experience whenever we get together, and we all acknowledge that to some extent we have similar struggles when it comes to certain things that we are trying to, or situations, circumstances that we're trying to improve. And it's it's just so good to feel that I'm not the only one, to have that sense of camaraderie.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like feeling like I'm supported and that I belong, right? Like
Yeah.
feeling validated that I'm not alone in my struggles. And all of my life, even including as a young child, I never felt like I belonged anywhere. Even though I had friends and all of that, I never felt like a part of something. And this is what is the biggest thing for me, is feeling like I'm a part of something. Yeah.
Yeah, and I get a lot of clarity, in my business and just with myself too, figuring out what I can do in my next phase of life. So dreaming and planning has been a really good part of it for me.
For me, this time fills my cup and refuels me. So I came into this particular retreat after a lot of travel, for a lot of, some for work, some for pleasure, back to back. I just finished running another retreat that was so successful, but my cup was empty. I was mentally exhausted, emotionally exhausted, physically exhausted from being on, West Coast time zone, then European time zone, then middle of the country time zone, and then back to East Coast time zone. So I was completely out of whack. And just being here and being able to, get up at 5 a.m. and sit outside overlooking the marshes and do my journaling, and then spending time with these wonderful friends of mine, just exploring what's going on in our worlds and in our minds and in our hearts, it fills my cup and it gives me energy. And I know that when I go home tomorrow, sadly, I will feel refreshed and ready to take on the things that I dreamt about and the things that I'm now creating intention for and creating a space for. Yeah.
I think we've all rested a lot deeper this time.
Yeah. And don't forget, we've also had a lot of fun.
Right?
Yes.
For
Yes.
sure.
If you've never been to Savannah, great town, great fun, great food. So, 5 stars from us for sure.
Yes, very haunted place.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you everyone for being part of this retreat journey with us. If this is something that resonated with you or this topic was meaningful for you, we'd love for you to like and subscribe and share this podcast. We really want to reach as many women as we can. And if you are interested in a retreat, please feel free to reach out to me. www.thesinhagroup.net. That's Sinha, SINHA. And put in a discovery call, and I would love to talk to you about it. All right, everyone, until next time, be well.
Hey, one more thing before we leave. This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. We are certified professional coaches, but this broadcast is not a substitute for medical or psychological advice. Okay, thanks for listening. See you next week.